Wow, what a great day. First, I am not a mad scientist. I am, as the Deputy Commanding General and Vice Principal of Training and Doctrine Command, I'm often accused of being the mad general that General Perkins talked about this morning. But I've got some good news. I have no slides. Better news is I'm not going to talk for 30 minutes as is shown in the program. In fact, my daughter, who has been assisting in the back, she goes, "Oh, Dad, you're not going to talk for 30 minutes, are you?" I said, "No, there's no fear of that." But I want to thank everybody for really, one, participating, and two, for the very rich discussion that we had today. As Dave Maxwell challenged us at the beginning about understanding, to understand the problem, to understand the potential, to understand the challenges, and maybe more importantly, to understand the variables and the relationship of the variables that will come to bear as we look at the strategic security environment in decades to come. So regardless of how quickly some of those trends may change over time, better understanding the relationship of those variables will allow us to understand the implications for the future. So General Perkins talked this morning very briefly. He mentioned our Army operating concept. The bumper sticker for that, or the title, is to win in a complex world. Win, to achieve, sustain, to do our part to set conditions, shape, deter, and win, to achieve sustainable political outcomes in a complex world, a world and a future that is unknown, unknowable, and constantly changing. So to get our arms and brains about that, but to look at the trends, to look at those variables and the relationship of those variables that describes that complexity, and to describe what our Army needs to be able to do in that future, to provide our national leaders multiple options while presenting our adversaries multiple dilemmas, while working with multiple partners, in multiple domains. So Dr. Palazzo talked about the merging of domains. The top of the Greek architecture that described our 6+1 capability development effort was multi-domain battle. That is, I think that is an interim step to that merging of domains, where Army forces project combat power or effects into other domains to provide windows of opportunity for our Air Force partners, potentially in an anti-access aerial denial environment, to be able to, as Admiral Harris from Pacific Command talks about, land-based fires engaging maritime targets, cyber, potentially space. Multi-domain battle is where we're focusing our efforts, our capabilities for the future. Dr. Eliasson said in his presentation mentioned Donald Rumsfeld's quote, "You fight with the force you have." Our task, our challenge, and our responsibility is to do all we can to ensure that in the future, the force we have is the force we want or need to be able to address the complexity and the challenges of the future. So it really has been a great day where we've shared ideas, we've shared questions, we've shared challenges to get a better understanding, again, of the complexity of the world that we will face in the future, and talk about how do we innovate to get there. As General Perkins mentioned, for us, Army, there are a lot of innovative ideas, but innovation is translating those ideas into valued outcomes to build that capability for the future. So again, Dave set the conditions talking about understanding. Our boss came in and put it in the context of how we're getting after that as an Army. And then our speakers throughout the day talked about those variables, talked about how they will impact us in the future, whether it's geography, environmental security. Dr. Chalecki also gave the thought that perhaps Mark Twain was a mad scientist when he said, whiskey's for sipping, and I'm a whiskey drinker. Whiskey's for sipping, and water's for fighting. But that is an area that, I think we're a bit late to the show on, and certainly DOD and the Army is getting after that. So again, thanks to everybody for stimulating discussion, our presenters for their thoughts. That last one, Dr. Horn, that was scary. Those thoughts are particularly the ethical implications. Another piece for Dr. Palazzo, I think this, as he was talking about precision, Ricky Smith and I were talking, that really suggests potentially a change in the character of the war in the future. Hiders and seekers, as General Perkins mentioned, going subterranean, not being able to discriminate targets. There's no doubt that we're going to need to engage those targets, but how do we do so? And then the panel, I thought, really great discussion, and I certainly appreciate Mr. Jensen's mentioning about the door of adjacent possibilities, those doors. Setting culture, changing behavior to change our culture, particularly in DOD and the Army, to be able to open those doors and to look at what's in the realm of the possible in the future. So this was a quick but tantalizing taste of what's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll discuss forecasting, decision sciences, transformational learning, and hopefully we'll get a war plan on defeating zombies by Max Brooks. Also tomorrow morning, General Martin Milley, our Chief of Staff of the Army, will be here back with General Perkins and their thoughts, his thoughts on the future challenges and innovation. So again, certainly I'd like to thank all of our partners, everybody that participated today, but particularly Georgetown, Dave Maxwell and his team, Strategic Studies Group, Pat Mahaney and his folks, as well Tom Greco's team, Joel Lawton, all the Fred Batchelor, Chip, all the folks here who have done such a great job setting this up. But one person in particular that I was told, a little birdie told me earlier today, that our most audacious mad scientist does not have a mad scientist coin. So I'm going to fix that. So Miss Audacious, Dr. Kira Hutchinson, please come up. Thank you. Thanks. Well done. Thanks. Last but not least, again, I said I'm a whiskey drinker and no stranger to strong drink. Certainly recommend everybody join us at the District Chop House and Brewery for the social this evening. And if we don't see you there, see you in the morning. Thank you. Appreciate it.